Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends. This is part 2 of the Comical Grasshopper, and in this video we will get it built from start to finish, and let's get cracking. Right, that's the first section complete. Obviously the gearbox is pre-assembled with the motor fitted, so it's just a case of putting the rear wishbones together and the drive shafts and couplings in. Once it's built, the diff's pretty smooth, obviously, and that's pretty smooth. One slight criticism early on, for some reason there's two different plastics being used. There's a standard, what I'd call a standard Tamiya black gloss plastic, but there's also this stuff here which has got like more of a matte finish to it. It's very, very soft. You've got to be very careful and not put too much torque into the screws. When I was putting the first wishbone together, I over tightened one screw straight away, and I didn't put that much effort into it, so I've had to really sort of scale back as I'm doing the screws. So it's just a tip for anyone who's just about to start building one. Just be careful with that. It goes together very quickly. I guess this is aimed at the sort of younger Tamiya generation, so it is a very, very easy build. Silly little things like you don't grease the pivot screws on the arms, which I'm used to sort of greasing everything that moves, but you don't on this. I mean, it's still nice and smooth, but you just don't do it. So that's the first step done. Oh, sorry, and the wheelie bars on as well with the wheel. So the next stage now, I need to power my radio gear up and centre my steering servo, and then we'll go from there. So next step, as I say, was to get the electrics done. So I've had to take an old Futaba servo out because two servos I tried before, it didn't work. Great. So anyway, I've connected it all up, power's on, and I figured out which were the motor wires because this speedo does brushless as well. And right, so that's all working, so let's get it in the car. Right, we had a mini disaster then. The old servo I'd used, it wouldn't take a screw, it was rounded. I tried 3 different types of thread and it wouldn't do it. So I had to strip an old high-tech one out of the car now, but it's absolutely solid, and that's now working perfectly. So anyway, let's crack on. Right, that's the next stage completed, which is basically the chassis. A lot of work for not a lot of return really. 2 just big pieces of plastic, the steering servo bolted to it, and a load of screws holding this together. So very simple, but again, very easy to over tighten these screws. Right, so let's get cracking. We're now going to build the front end up. Right, that's the front end finished. Again, very simple process. Wishbones are on, drive couplings are in, steering's now fully connected. Everything's nice and free. So that's that stage. So the next stage is to build the 4 shocks. So let's bat on. Right, that's the shocks built up. Very quick process with these. There's no circlips or E-clips on these. Oil dampers, and they feel really good actually, I've got to say. I didn't expect them to feel nice and smooth like they are, but anyway, so that's 4 shocks built. The next step now is to mount the shocks on both ends, so let's do that. it's starting to look like a car now. So shocks are on both ends, and now the pre-assembled rear end is now bolted to the chassis with about 100 screws. Takes ages, but I must say it's all nice. Steering seems smooth enough. Shocks feel great. Rear, your wheelie bar, diff feels cool, and again rear shocks feel awesome. So that's it. I think the next step now is to start putting all these plastic parts, Nerf bars or whatever you call them, around it. So let's crack on. Right, that's these two sidebars on. God, what a ball ache that is. It's like building Lego. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pieces either side, but you kind of, I don't know why we didn't mould it in one go. Anyway, and then there's these little brackets you've got to get on down here. I don't know if you can see this thing here. Not too sure what that does yet. But anyway, that's it. That's the Nerf bars on, or whatever you call them. But I've got this speedo now floating around. So looking at the instructions, it's now just to mount the radio gear and tidy the wiring up. So that's next job. Right, that's the wiring's terrible. I've made a right bodge of it. The speedo and receiver are just stuck down with a tiny little bit of tape. They're like, the radio gear's like an afterthought on this chassis. Anyway, I've got the both aerial mounts on. We'll just, if you're going to struggle if you've got an oversized 7.2. If you've got a high capacity one, it's not going to fit in this. This is only a 2000 and it's really tight to get in. Anyway, so that goes there, that connects like that. Switch the transmitter on, switch is on this side, and that gives us steering. And we've got so the car is good. Just turn this off. And then to slide this battery out, because you don't want to pull it by the wires. Right, so that's the car is almost done. Next stage is to put the wheels on the tyres and the inners and then fit them to the car. And then there's a front springy bumper to go on. And then on the back, where the battery sits in, there's like a little exhaust plate that fits on these two, I don't know if you can see them, these two brackets here with pins for like quick release to get your battery out. So, alright, let's get cracking with that. Right, we're on to the wheel section. Now the wheels on this particular buggy look really cool because of these green inserts. So I was quite intrigued to figure out how they go together. So the first, it's not a problem as such, but this plastic is moulded so thick. And it's 1, 2, 3, it's got 5 points where you've got to cut through this to get to the actual rim itself, and then you've got to trim the rim up. I mean, it's first world problems, I know, but it's a bit of a ball ache. And then once you've got that, then it screws with 5 special screws inside. So there's a fair bit of work in it, but I must admit the wheels themselves look absolutely great. So I've just done one, so let's get the other 3 built up, and then we'll get them onto the tyres. Right, that's the wheels and tyres done. As I say, they look really cool. The front ones, this might sound a little bit crazy, but they actually remind me of model aircraft tyres that my dad used to do back in the day when he built model planes. Just identical. I think it's the shape of them. Anyway, so that's them done. There's a fair bit of work in them. The tyres go on the wheels really easily. perhaps a little bit too easily. And what I mean by that is these might need gluing, because I think if this kind of gets thrown around a little bit, because there's a lot of movement in the tyre, it might come off the rim. Don't know. I won't glue them for now. Right, let's get on and fit them to the car. And that is finally the car done. It was good, I enjoyed it. Shocks feel great. It's really bouncy on the back. Not even got the battery in yet. Front's a lot harder. But it's very springy. It's got a spring bumper on it. I'll tell you what we'll do. So, oh, this is cool. This is ingenious. I love this. This exhaust system, obviously it's not painted. You've got these two clips here that you pull, and then that just comes off. That's this. And then obviously your battery goes in. Oh, and not too sure how this is going to go because I've not done this yet. And then what happens? And then that clips on there. That's your battery done. That goes in. Just turn it on. Diffs are really smooth. Diff is really smooth. Obviously, as I say, it's pre-assembled, but it feels lovely. And you can feel the motor. It's very, you can tell it's very highly geared, or it'll be low geared, won't it, for wheelies? Very kind of torquey. So that's got the battery in now. So that bottoms out a little bit, but obviously it's not going to be doing jumps like that. Anyway, so switch that on. We've got the steering. Oops. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, sorry. And then hopefully we've got some drive. Yeah, it's smooth as well, considering it's not ball race. I don't know if there's any ball races in the pre-done gearbox, but it's very smooth. Right, that's really cool. I'm chuffed with that. So that's, as I say, that's as far as you can go with this now. The next stage is to do the driver. Now, it's a cool driver. It's a Willy driver, obviously, but there's a lot of decals, so there's not a great deal of painting needed, which suits me down to the ground. And then obviously it's just a body shell, but the body shell has got some bits and bats on it as well that you need to mount. So, as I say, that's the car done, so let's bat on with the body.